Welcome, candidates, to the lesson. In our today's class, we are going to study ethical dilemmas in business communication. Ethical dilemmas in business communication. Now, candidates, an ethical dilemma may also be known as an ethical paradox. It is an ethical paradox. It is an ethical paradox. It can also be referred to as a moral dilemma. Moral dilemma. An ethical dilemma can also be known as an ethical paradox or a moral dilemma, and it is a problem in the decision-making process between two possible options, neither of which is absolutely acceptable from an ethical perspective. And candidates, although we face many ethical and moral problems in our lives, most of them come with relatively straightforward solutions. On the other hand, ethical dilemmas are extremely complicated challenges that cannot be easily solved. And therefore, the ability to find the optimal solution in such a situation is critical. And candidates, ethical dilemmas are situations in which there is a difficult choice to be made between two or more options, neither of which resolves the solution or the situation. You are faced with a problem, and there are various solutions to the problem, and neither of the solutions to the problem offer the optimal solution to the problem. All right? Ethical paradox. Situations in which there is a difficult choice to be made between two or more options, neither of which resolves the situation in a manner that is consistent with acceptable ethical guidelines. And candidates, when faced with an ethical paradox, a person is faced with having to select an option that doesn't align itself with an established code of ethics or social norms, such as the codes of law and sometimes religious teachings. Or it can also just be with an internal moral perception of right or wrong. So in our today's session, we're going to discuss some of the ethical dilemmas that are faced in communication. The first one is secrecy. Secrecy, from the word secret. Now, candidate, secrets are kept for both honorable and dishonorable reasons. They may be used to guard intimacy, or they may use to invade it. And therein lies a challenge for a manager to do what? To determine when secrets are justifiable and when they are not. And that poses an ethical paradox. When secrets are guarded a lot, or when a clump of secrets tightens too much, the result could be lack of innovation. But on the other hand, organizations have a legitimate need to protect information. Why? Because if competitors, for example, gain access to such information like research and development, they can produce that product for a much lower net cost because they do not have to pay the research and development expenses. So that poses a paradox. Should the company continue guarding the secret, or should the company not guard the secret? Guarding the secret is a good thing, but it may not be a good thing when looked at it from the side or angle of innovation, because if you hold on to a secret, then that may hinder innovation or creativity within an organization. So secrecy is an ethical dilemma in a business. Then B, whistleblowing. Whistleblowing, blowing the whistle. Now, what does that mean? Candidates, an employee who goes public with information about corporate abuses or negligence is known as a whistleblower. An employee who blows the whistle. An employee who goes public with information about the abuses within the company is known as a whistleblower. And this information could be in relation to abuses or negligence or malpractices within the organization. And corporations and managers legitimately expect employees to be loyal. But sometimes greed, jealousy, revenge could motivate some whistleblowers. And some are simply, at times, misinformed. There are those who confuse public interest with private interest. And certainly, we all know that the community has a right to know about corporate practices that are potentially hazardous, yet quoting the whistleblower, too aggressively can be problematic. So whistleblowing is also an ethical dilemma. Should you, as an employee, go public with information that you feel could be as a result of, or information that, or information about the abuses that the company is meting out, or as a result of the company's negligence? Should you go public with such information, or should you continue being loyal to the company because the company expects you to be loyal? So sometimes that could be an ethical dilemma from the standpoint of an employee. Because again, you may find that employees have to sign some deed, and employees may have to have maybe gotten into a contract with a company where they're expected to maintain confidentiality. There are some employees who are bound by some code as not to release information to the public without consent of the company. At the same time, employees are encouraged to go public with the information that that could amount to maybe negligence or corporate failures on the part of the company. So we find that could be a situation of ethical paradox. Ethical paradox. Then let's move on to the third ethical dilemma, which is known as leaks. Leaks. Now, a leak candidate is just like whistleblowing, but from the point of anonymity. It is like anonymous whistleblowing. The distinction being that the person who leaks information cannot be cross-examined. You can leak information without identifying yourself. That means that you cannot be cross-examined. And that sometimes casts doubt on the credibility of the claim. Then the accused, in most cases, does not know who or why a person has chosen to release certain information. Leaks. We've had politicians in the past using leaks maybe to defame an opponent or to stall a project. All right? So from an organization point of view, candidates, leaks may cause organization plans to be altered or to be foregone altogether. And leaks, we can also say, can be a form of political maneuvering in the organization or a way to sabotage the career of colleagues, maybe for purposes of competing for promotions, for a job, and so on. Leaks. Then the fourth ethical dilemma, rumor and gossip. Rumor and gossip. Rumor and gossip. Now, sometimes candidates, rumor and gossip seem to be inevitable part of everyday corporate life. Rumors and gossip. And even though rumors and gossip often travel through the same networks, there is a distinction between them. There is a distinction between rumor and gossip. Why? Because rumors tend to focus on events and information, whereas gossip tend to focus on people. And even though managers usually treat the information as yet to be confirmed, it may cloud judgments about an employee. And the information candidates has a way of creeping into performance evaluations, into promotion decisions, and so on. And we all know that candidates, a lie is a false statement. A lie is a false statement that is intended to deceive. And of all the ethical dilemmas that I have discussed here today, of all these ethical dilemmas, candidates, lying would appear to be the least morally perplexing. Because most would agree that one ought not to lie. Yet lies in business are more common than secrecy, than whistleblowing, than leaks. Lies in business are more common than many would care to admit. So candidates, it's important to note that lying breaks down the trust between individuals. Lies shake the foundation of ethical communication, and so on. So rumor and gossip can also be seen to be ethical or moral dilemmas. And that effectively brings our lesson to an end. I will, in closing, give you one assignment based on what we have learned today. Discuss 4 ethical dilemmas in business communication. Thank you for attending. I'll hope to meet you in our next session where we continue to learn more about ethics in communication. Bye-bye.